Um, Lego Batman, the video game. Now here's a game I love. The Lego games were friggin' awesome. Let me tell you what. I think this one still holds up because, well, I mean, it's Batman, of course. But I think out of the Lego Batman games they released, this one probably nails the tone of Batman the best. Probably because it's the only one to primarily be a Batman game. The other ones introduce like all this DC superhero stuff with stuff like Superman and Wonder Woman and all that stuff. And yeah, not saying the other ones were bad. I still really enjoy this one though. It's just a simple Batman game. It's just a simple Lego game because it's before they introduce all the big gimmicks like open world, voice acting, freaking I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. This game's awesome. And yes, I would recommend it. I don't know when I got this, probably around when it came out, because I was pretty early to the whole Lego game of playing them, and this one was no exception. This might have been my first exposure to Batman, knowing me. It probably was. But that's the case for all of these Lego games. The earlier ones were kind of my first exposures to these IPs. But yeah, really good time. I would recommend it. Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes. This one's interesting, especially with the Wii version, because this was one of the later Lego games released on the Wii, I think 2012. Of course, I bought it day one because, I don't know, I was pretty excited for it to come out, because, I mean, come on. I mean, look at these headlines. Discover Lego Gotham City, the biggest Lego game environment. I was pretty excited to explore Gotham City. Hear minifigures talk for the first time in a Lego video game. I was pretty excited to hear, you know, actual voice acting, rather than them mumbling. I mean, I understand why a lot would complain about that and be like, "Oh, why don't they mumble?" And I think even Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the newest one, has a mode where you could turn off the voice acting, which is really funny. The Wii version of Lego Batman 2 was a buggy mess of a game. I mean, unlike it's not a bad port in the same way that Disney Infinity is, where like they watered it down to where it's pretty much a different game. It's the same game, but just, God, you could tell it wasn't made with the Wii in mind. Especially with how often you'll find glitches and how often the game crashes on Wii. Yeah, of course, as a kid, I didn't care. I loved this game either way, and I still think it holds up very well. Like, this is still a very enjoyable game. And, of course, there's no other feeling like going through this game, or going through the game's open world and flying around as Superman as the Superman theme plays. There's nothing like it. But, yeah, if you're a fan of these kinds of games, I would recommend getting Lego Batman 2. Maybe not on the Wii, but just the game in general on other systems like the 360, PS3, even Wii U. Anyways, Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4. Now this is another one I really enjoyed as a kid. I love this game. I played it so much as a kid. I think I got it around when it came out. And I even remember seeing commercials for it around when it came out. I was like, oh my god, a new Lego game, I gotta get this. I don't even think I knew what Harry Potter was, because I was like what, 6 or 7 at this time? I had no idea what Harry Potter, I think this game was my first exposure to Harry Potter. And I didn't care, I loved it. And that's the thing, I didn't buy these Lego games for the franchises, I just bought these Lego games because they were Lego games. They're really fun games. I mean, sure, they're simple games, but there's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, this one was definitely one of my favorites as a kid. I loved exploring Hogwarts, which is one of the things you could do in the game. I think it's still huge. It is huge, holy crap. Let's see, what are some of these taglines? Explore Hogwarts Castle, play as Harry, Ron, and Hermione, Oh yeah, the game also had a huge roster of characters. Of course, all the students of Hogwarts were playable. Freaking Neville Longbottom and Colin Creevey were playable. Freaking, yeah, cast a spell with a friend and played through the first 4 stories as a team with co-op. Yeah, that's the thing. These LEGO games kind of had a pretty innovative drop-in, drop-out co-op system, which I usually didn't play these games in multiplayer. I was a pretty lonely kid. I didn't really have any friends to play these games with. But when I did, they were a blast. And even playing them on your own, they were still a lot of fun. But, yeah. I think these, this and the next one got a modern re-release. So if you're looking to play these games, whether you're new to them or wanting to revisit an old nostalgic classic, I'd say buy that. But if you don't want that and, you know, want them pure and in 30 frames per second, this is not a bad choice either. Even though the Wii version is, like Lego Batman 2, a little buggy, like the game will crash pretty often, and I'm pretty sure there's actually some game-breaking bugs to where you literally cannot proceed in the game at all. So, maybe you should get the remasters. I don't know, I haven't tried them. Maybe they don't fix the game-breaking bugs for all I know. But, yeah, even then, I still recommend it, no matter what version you play. It's a fun time. Lego Harry Potter Years 5 through 7. Here's one I did not play as a kid. I had it, I bought it when it came out in late 2011, but I'm pretty sure, from my knowledge, I got stuck on the 3rd level in the game and never bothered with it again until like a couple years ago. Like I think in 2019, 2020, I went back to the game and I ended up 100%ing it in a week. Like, this is a really good game. I don't like it as much as the original, but I do think it's an objectively better game. Mainly because, of course, this not really being a sequel to the original, but more of a part 2. More just an expansion to the original, just to kind of complete the story of the Harry Potter films, because this was released alongside the final film, Deathly Hallows Part 2. But, of course, the open world, the free roaming across Hogwarts, I think it was bigger in this game to where you can not only explore Hogwarts, but also, like, London and stuff, which is pretty cool. And there are a lot of quality of life improvements, especially with the spells, which is pretty cool. And, of course, there was a lot of new spells in this one, like, whoa, you could spray water, you could outline red walls and go through them and stuff. I think it was called Defendo. But, yeah, so they didn't change too much about the game, and that's fine, you know. Most of these LEGO games are the same anyway. But, yeah, this is a really enjoyable one. I would recommend this game as well, especially if you like the first one. Lego Indiana Jones, The Original Adventures. Now, this is classic Lego, like, in terms of the Lego games. This is one of the first ones they released, and holy crap, this game holds up, like, really well. Yeah, build, battle, and brawl your way out of trouble. This game's awesome. I mean, of course it is. Lego Indiana Jones, it's amazing. I think this was also my first exposure to Indiana Jones. And, I think I got into Indiana Jones for a little bit as a kid, thanks to this game. So yeah, it means a lot to me. Did I get this around when it came out? I don't think I did. I think I got it like a year later. But whatever, it didn't change my perspective on it. I still loved it. Yeah, not much else to say. Of course, like most of these LEGO games, these are good games, and I would recommend them. Especially if you're an Indiana Jones fan. Because this game is a retelling of the first 3 Indiana Jones movies, or really the only 3 real Indiana Jones movies, so it's not brought down by the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. No, it has all 3 of the good Indiana Jones films. That's why it's called The Original Adventures. The ones that matter. So I think that makes the game even better than it could have been. I don't know. It's a good time. It really captures the spirit of the Indiana Jones movies. I really hate this yellow spine. Like, most of the LucasArts games around this time, rather than the white spines, of any other Wii game. These have like a yellow spine, which is really obnoxious. It was mainly the LucasArts games, because the next one has a similar thing. Lego Indiana Jones 2. This one's not as good for the reason I mentioned earlier. This one is primarily based off of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So yeah, it's yeah, Lego Indiana returns in his greatest adventure yet. Not really. I'd say the original is better. I believe this one like introduces a brand new game engine that would be used for future Lego games, and it even includes stuff like a level creator where you can make your own levels, which is interesting, but it was never brought back. Okay, it kind of was in Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4, but barely. And also they also had the first 3 films in this as well, even though this was released a year after the original. So it was kind of weird that 2 Lego games released not long after the other would tell the exact same stories, but they tried to make them distinct, but they ended up just being weird. This one I'd say is one of the weaker Lego games, which is a shame. But whatever. It just makes Lego Indiana Jones: The Original Adventures look better. Yeah, that's all I could say about this one. If you're really curious, I guess it'll be a good playthrough, like to add to your own collection. This case will not close, will it? There we go. Or if you're a Lego game completionist, then of course, like me. But other than that, I don't know if I could really recommend this one. The original stands the test of time, but I don't know if the second one does. It's definitely a weird one. Like Lego Rock Band. Yeah, this game exists. So rather than being based off of a movie series, this one is based off of a pre-existing video game with Rock Band. Okay. This was my first exposure to Rock Band, by the way. And it is also kind of the reason why it took me so long to get into these games. It's funny, because, so, I got this game around back when it came out in late 2009. And I think the first time I actually sat down and played this game with some cousins, the game crashed. And I was really scared of the game crashing back then. Not as much now, but like it prevented me from playing these games at all. Yeah, it was that bad. So I never played it again until I think 2016. I went back to old Wii games to play them and see if they still worked. And then playing this got me into normal Rock Band. So I guess thanks Lego Rock Band for being a weird game. So this was kind of similar to Band Hero, to where it was pretty much a more family-friendly rhythm game with the E10 rating, and I guess they used Lego to kind of, what's the word? To kind of attract kids to the game, of course. And it's funny because this was Harmonix's idea. This was not Lego's idea or Traveler's Tales' idea. This was Harmonix's idea to have like, hey, let's have Lego Rock Band, you know, to get the kids into Rock Band, to widen their audience. And so, like Band Hero, or not like Band Hero, this one they actually purposely picked songs that were family friendly to begin with. I think that's a good thing because these could be transferred into normal Rock Band, and so when transferred into that game, these songs don't stand out as much because these are songs that were family friendly to begin with and didn't have heavy censorship, you know? I don't know. The customization, of course, it being a Lego themed game, it has more customization than normal Rock Band games. But at the same time, it doesn't. I honestly think this game's existence is more interesting than the game itself. But I believe it has 45 songs on disc. Of course, you could get more via DLC. But it was pretty interesting how they handled the DLC. it had the same DLC catalog as the normal Rock Band games, but only songs that Harmonix themselves deemed as family friendly, which is interesting. The 45 song set list is not bad. It's pretty good, I think. There's some, some good hits in here. Like, I think, let's see, there are 2 Queen songs, which is interesting. Especially since the game has a story, and I think Queen were heavily involved in it, so it makes sense, because We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions is in this. There's also Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. Freaking Sum 41. Freaking The Automatic. Yeah, Counting Crows. There were some interesting songs there. The Final Countdown. Definitely the very interesting song list. But I don't think you could transfer them into normal Rock Band anymore, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. So this is the only way to play these songs. So if you're into the song list or just want more Rock Band, this isn't that bad. On its own, though, I don't really know if I could recommend it, because of just its absurdity. And also how limited it is compared to other Rock Band games. If you just want Rock Band, just play the other ones. I'm sorry. But anyways, here is the LEGO game. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. This game has a special place in my heart. This was the first of the LEGO games I played. And I think it was one of the first LEGO games, or one of the first video games I ever played, period. It was definitely my first exposure to Star Wars. And it was definitely the first video game that I fell in love with. This game is awesome. And I still love it to this day. I still have not gotten tired of this game. This game does not get old. It's awesome, and I loved it as a kid. Oh my god. This was what got me into Star Wars. And LEGO. Yeah, this was what got me into LEGO. Ain't that great. I don't know what else I could say. It's just an amazing game that, stands the test of time. I don't remember when I got this. I think it was around when it came out. Although this was a reprint of the game, because the original game came out in 2007, which was before Wii games had full colored discs, but rather they just had like 2 different colors on the disc. And I believe the original disc art for this game was like blue. I don't know what happened to the original copy. This is a new one that has a fully colored disc. I think there's some differences in the game itself, from my knowledge, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this game is awesome, and I cannot recommend it enough. So yeah. Next up is LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars. Pretty good LEGO game, honestly. I played this one a bit as a kid. I think I got it like Christmas, the year it came out, because this came out in 2011, I believe. And I think I got it that Christmas. So, yeah. Wait, does it? Okay. Well, I saw something in the case. Pretty decent. Of course, in some cases, it's technically better than LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Of course, this one was released later, after they made plenty of LEGO games that would improve upon the mechanics of the game. But at the same time, my biggest gripe with the game would probably be, so there was one kind of thing that was exclusive to this game that kind of set it apart, and that was the ground battles. These huge battles where it was pretty much, kind of a whole war scene going on between clone troopers and battle droids, as you would conquer bases and build more, vehicles or enemy spawners and all sorts of weapons and stuff. It was fun the first time, but you do so many and it gets really repetitive because it's essentially the same thing over and over again. But other than that, this game ain't that bad. I mean, being based off of a pretty good TV show, I mean, of course, it's going to be a lot of fun. Especially since they directly adapted episodes from the show into, a LEGO game, which is kind of unique. because I think this is the only Lego game to be directly based off of a TV show in this way. It's kind of weird that they never did it again. Kind of cool if they did. I don't know, in the long run, in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. I do recommend this one as well, especially if you're a Star Wars fan or a fan of the Clone Wars TV show. I definitely recommend picking it up. And of course, the Wii version ain't that bad. Of course, I think Lego Batman 2 and Lego Harry Potter 1 through 4 are really the only Wii versions that really stand out. Anyways, here's where the fun begins in the collection. Mario Kart Wii, classic right here. This was my first Mario Kart game, and I think I've noticed that most people either really like this game or really hate this game, because it really is one that's kind of divided within the Mario Kart fan base, mainly because of the single player. Now, multiplayer, I think everyone could agree. I mean, come on, it's Mario Kart. Of course the multiplayer is going to be good. And especially since this one is online multiplayer. I do remember as a kid trying to play online. Of course, my sister and I actually played online. And the one thing I remember is that I think my sister had to take a bathroom break. Or, went to the restroom while we were playing. And I was worried sick because I realized, oh crap, you can't pause online. And I was so worried that I literally turned off the system and we never played online again. For whatever reason. I don't know when this was, so that might have to do with the fact that it was shut down pretty quickly, because they shut down the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection pretty quickly, I think 2014. But yeah, this game is really fun. Of course, multiplayer, local multiplayer. Oh my god, it's Mario Kart. Of course it's fun, but the single player... Of course, the only real single player is Grand Prix and Time Trials. Time Trials, of course, isn't too bad. It's just going through the tracks. Pretty typical stuff. Grand Prix, especially the game's AI is a little weird. And not only that, but the items... The new items, there were 3 of them. And of course, none of them were brought back into future Mario Kart games. The POW Block, the Thundercloud, and the Mega Mushroom. They're all essentially just worse versions of already existing items, so I could see why they would be taken out. Because the POW Block is essentially a worse version of the Lightning. The Mega Mushroom is essentially a worse version of the Star. And the Thundercloud is just stupid. And also, yeah, items are distributed way too often, to where if you're doing good, every single race you do, you'll probably get hit with at least 2 blue shells. It is so obnoxious. And yeah, I'll admit, playing through the single player and trying to win and, you know, get all the gold trophies and stuff, it is very, very luck based on the luck of the AIs. It's still fun though. It's Mario Kart. And if you have a Wii, I would definitely recommend this one. This one is a must-have for any Wii owner. It's Mario Kart Wii. Come on, it's a classic. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Knocked over my camera. Great. Anyways, here's Mario Party 8. A pretty interesting one. Especially since it's just a weird game in general. Especially with how it's presented, because most of the game is in a 4:3 aspect ratio with no widescreen option. It's weird because the menus have widescreen, but not the game itself. I think it has to do with the fact that this originally was not a Wii game. This was originally supposed to be a GameCube game. That's right, there were originally going to be 5 Mario Party games on the GameCube. However, this one development shifted over to the Wii. And you can definitely tell because the minigames were so clearly made with the GameCube controller in mind, but had motion controls hastily slapped onto it at the last minute. So that's great. It's still fun though, it's Mario Party. So of course it's a lot of fun. It's one of 2 Mario Party games on the Wii, and spoiler alert, probably the only good one. So of course, for Wii owners, especially those who like multiplayer games, this one's a must-have, even though it's not the best Mario Party game. But it's still a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun playing through this one. The boards are really good. Some of the minigames are alright. I think the minigame selection is probably the weakest of... one of the weakest minigame selections of the series, right alongside, probably... Let's see, what are the other ones with weak minigame selections? Because most Mario Party games, the minigames always hit it out of the ballpark. But Mario Party 1 had a pretty weak minigame selection. Had like 50 of them, and some of them were pretty bad. Mario Party 10 had some pretty bad minigames. Super Mario Party had bad boards, but some of the minigames weren't that great. Mario Party 8 has some pretty weird ones. I'm talking to you, Flip the Chimp. Ugh. But, yeah, not a bad game. For those looking for multiplayer Wii games, this is definitely one to try out. I mean, I definitely liked it as a kid. It was what got me into Mario Party. Mario Party 9, I got this game launch day and regretted it. Well, I didn't regret it at first. I really wanted to like this game. I really did. I was like, oh my god, guys, it's the new Mario Party game. It's the new Mario Party game. Because I got it launch day, so it was brand new. So this was, I think, 2012. It was a pretty late Wii game overall. I still remember the fact that, where the heck is Luigi? There's Luigi. I think for the longest time, Luigi just wasn't on the box art, so they put him right there at the last minute. I just find it so funny. I just forgot to put Luigi on the box art of Mario Party 9. My god. I'd still say this is not the worst Mario Party game. I do think Mario Party 10 on the Wii U is worse, but it's a pretty bad one because this one introduces all the new board mechanics that no one asks for. The car, where everyone travels together on a linear board, and they're kind of working together, which is just not the point of Mario Party. The point of Mario Party is that you want to rip each other's heads off by the end of a game. And this isn't that. I mean, the minigames are still fun, which I guess makes it even worse, because the only way to play these good minigames is through freaking Mario Party 9, so usually when I play this game, I just play the minigames on their own. And that's kind of how I played it as a kid. I wasn't a fan of the boards, but I liked the minigames. But, I don't know, that's the thing, I don't know if I could recommend it to, Wii owners, or really just people in general. Because, like I said, the main game with the boards isn't that fun, but the minigames are really fun, so it really depends on whether you're willing to buy this game just for minigames. But yeah. Anyways, here is a Blockbuster case. This is, you could probably see, this is Meet the Robinsons for the Wii. That's right, I had the Meet the Robinsons video game. There it is, there's the disc. This is another weird one because it was a pretty early Wii game. Not only that, it was a Wii game that was also had a GameCube version. That's right, this is a multi-platform game, of course, like most of these Disney video games. Released on Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, Wii, and GameCube. That's right, one of the few games to be released simultaneously for both GameCube and Wii. Really weird. And you can kind of tell that this was originally a GameCube game because, of course, there's no widescreen. And, dear God, the Wii version has really bad controls. Especially with the fact that to control the camera, you need to use the Wii's pointer, or the Wii Remote's pointer. Ain't that great? Don't you like always having to point at the screen to move the camera? My God, what are they thinking? That kind of ruined the game for me. Also, I reached a point where I literally could not proceed, even if I resetted the game. That's great, so I had to start all over again. And I've yet to beat the game for that reason, but I don't even know if it'd be worth it. The game's not bad though. I mean, if you like the movie, you're probably, of course, if you like the Meet the Robinsons movie, it's not a direct retelling of the game. It's actually kind of a prequel to the movie, or a retelling of the movie. It's kind of more of a prequel to the game where it takes place before the events of the movie. it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they like tie it into the movie, but it's not bad. It's not the worst thing out there. I mean, they got the voice cast of the movie, which is pretty cool. Of course, a lot of the environments in here are not from the movies, but that's that's fine. I don't really care that much. But I do think the humor definitely matches the movie quite nicely. It was developed by Avalanche Software, who develop a lot of these Disney games. This one ain't that bad. To those who have such a niche interest as me in these Disney video games, I give this game a shot. I'd say give this game a shot.